For centuries, sailors feared the ocean not only for its storms, but for what lived beneath the surface. Long before maps, satellites, or sonar, the sea was a place of mystery. Ships vanished without explanation. Crews returned shaken, speaking of shadows that moved where nothing should exist. They described something vast and alive, watching from below. Something powerful enough to pull entire vessels into the deep, as if they were nothing more than drifting leaves. They spoke of a creature with arms as thick as tree trunks, rising from the water without warning. A beast so large it could mistake a ship for prey. Its presence was said to turn calm seas violent, creating whirlpools that swallowed men whole. Sailors whispered its name in fear, marking dangerous waters on their maps and avoiding them whenever possible. They called it the Kraken. For hundreds of years, the Kraken existed only in stories. Ancient Norse legends described it as a sea god, a monster that slept beneath the waves and rose only to feed. Medieval maps showed enormous tentacled creatures coiled around ships, their arms stretching across entire oceans. Scholars dismissed these tales as exaggerations, nothing more than fear and superstition from men who did not understand the sea. But myths rarely come from nothing. The stories were too consistent. Sailors from different countries, speaking different languages, described the same thing. A massive presence beneath their ships. Long arms breaking the surface. Water churning violently around them. Even experienced captains, hardened by years at sea, spoke of encounters that left them pale and silent. Something real had inspired these legends. Something that lived where humans rarely ventured. The Kraken legend was born in the cold, dark waters of the North Atlantic, where visibility is low and storms are sudden. For centuries, no one had the tools to explore this hidden world. Whatever lived below remained invisible, leaving imagination to fill in the gaps, to find the true origin of the Kraken. We must travel far back in time, to an ocean that no longer exists, nearly 90 million years ago. During the late Cretaceous period, Earth's seas were warmer, deeper, and filled with colossal predators. Marine reptiles ruled the oceans. Mosasaurs, massive carnivores, hunted anything they could overpower. Enormous fish and ancient sharks dominated the food chain. But even in this world of monsters, something else moved in the depths. Its name was Tusoteuthis. Tusoteuthis was a prehistoric squid, related to modern squids but far larger and far more powerful. Scientists believe it may have rivaled or exceeded the size of today's largest squid species. Unlike modern squids, Tusoteuthis lived in an ocean packed with enormous prey and even greater danger. This was no passive creature drifting through the water. Tusoteuthis was an apex predator. Fossil evidence suggests it engaged in combat with mosasaurs, some of the most fearsome marine reptiles to ever exist. Mosasaur fossils show marks consistent with massive tentacle grips, as well as healed injuries that suggest repeated encounters. These were not accidents. They were battles between giants. Tusoteuthis likely hunted by ambush. Hidden in darkness, it would strike suddenly, launching powerful tentacles to seize its prey. Once captured, its massive beak, strong enough to crush bone, would tear into flesh. In a world ruled by size and strength, Tusoteuthis stood at the top of the food chain. This creature was not a myth. It was real. It lived, it hunted, and for millions of years, it ruled the ocean. In many ways, Tusoteuthis was the true Kraken, a real sea monster that existed long before humans ever took to the water. The legends told by sailors were likely distant echoes of encounters with its smaller descendants. Magnified by fear, but rooted in reality, for millions of years, the ocean had room for gods. But no rain lasts forever. The world began to change. Ocean temperatures shifted. Sea levels rose and fell. Ecosystems collapsed and reformed. Prey species vanished, replaced by life better suited to the new conditions. The great marine reptiles disappeared, taking entire food chains with them. Without the conditions that supported giants, Even apex predators fell. Tusoteuthis vanished from the fossil record. The true Kraken disappeared, not in a single moment, but gradually, as the world it depended on ceased to exist. The ocean no longer supported creatures of its scale and power. Smaller, more adaptable species survived, evolving into the squids we know today. But extinction does not always mean disappearance. Fragments of the Kraken remain. Giant squids and colossal squids still roam the deep ocean, rarely seen and barely understood. They are reminders of a time when the seas belonged to monsters, when size meant survival and humans were not yet a factor. Even today, the deep ocean remains one of the least explored places on Earth. Vast regions have never been seen by human eyes. And if animals this large can still hide from us now, it raises an unsettling truth. We do not fully know what lies beneath. U.S. The Kraken was real, just not in the way legends described. It was not a single monster waiting to destroy ships, but a lineage of giants that ruled the ocean long before humans arrived. And in that sense, the Kraken truly was the last of them, because the ocean remembers.